Welcome to the NOFSRL.
Two races remain in the NOFSRL Trinity River Cup Series season for 2022. We arrive today in the Finger Lakes region of New York, the Watkins Glen International, here for race number 25 of this 26 race season. We're here at this 3.5 mile road course for the BodyArmor 400k. Last year we had a doubleheader at Watkins Glen. The first race was won by defending series champion Trey Smith, and then the second one came down to a thrilling duel between Mitchell Collins and Sebastian Kukulon, with Collins getting what was at the time his second career victory in the series. Collins comes in riding a winless streak that dates all the way back to September 11th last year in Twin Ring Motegi in Japan. We'll have to see how it will go for them and for him and everybody else here. We have a topsy-turvy starting order for today's race. The championship coming in as well, tighter than it's been in a while. Kyle McLeese leads the point standings, 635 points towards the championship, but only 3 points ahead of Nicholas Samadillo. But the big ticker here is Colin Teague, third in the points. He's starting up inside the top 10. He's 41 points back of Kyle McLeese. 55 back is Kanan Biller. 66 back is Alejandro Cruz Jr. Elijah Gordon, 71 points back. Trey Wright is 76 points back. Mitchell Henderson, 87 points back. Marty Sakala, 89 points back. And rounding out the top 10 in the point standings, it's Jacob Thibodeau. He's 95 points behind Kyle McLeese. Now, the biggest swing somebody would have coming into this race in order to be eligible for the championship at Homestead next week, the most points you can get in a race, remember, is 45. The least you can get is 1, so the biggest swing you could have is 88 points. So you'd have to be within 44 points coming out of this race, and right now only 3 drivers are within those 44 points. But as far as 88 points goes, the last guy in is Mitchell Henderson in the 8th position in the standings. He's just barely in, 87 points behind. He's going to need to have one heck of a run today if he wants to battle for a championship in Miami next week. That's going to do it for the pre-race. Let's go down trackside. We'll get you starting lineup, and we will get this show on the road here at Watkins Glen. And the engines fire here at Watkins Glen. 40 going to roll off the grid. It's Alex Lozano in the pole position there. The Donut Media number 4 Ford for Buck Racing, starting alongside the 16 Sonic Mercedes out of Team Velocity. It's Thomas Troxel, winner at Pocono earlier this year. Starting in row number 2, we find the 97 of Colin Teague in the Powerade Chevrolet for NS Blackout Motorsports. Comes in third in the championship standings, within 41 points of Kyle McLeese and Nicholas Samadillo. It is only those 3 within 44 points of each other, which is what they need to be within to battle for a championship at Homestead. We'll see if Teague can hold on and remain within that threshold. Starting alongside him, the 27 of Roberto Crown Jr. has had a miserable season, looking to just have a high point in these final 2 races. In row number 3, we find the 2 of Joey Hightower out of Buck Racing. His teammate starting on the pole position. He's starting in 5th, and he's starting alongside one of the Pacific Ammo Racing cars, Justin Zidell, in the Lumen, number 62. Row number 4, we find Scott Upton in the 78. Going to be starting alongside the 05 of Alejandro Cruz Jr. Cruz coming into this race 66 points back of Kyle McLeese, looking to race his way into a bid for a championship. And 2 more drivers that are looking to do that. round off the top 10 of the starting grid here. Trey Wright in the 95 comes in 76 back, and Elijah Gordon comes in 71 points back. And they both need to be within, again, 44 points is the threshold they need to be within to battle for a championship next week at Homestead Miami Speedway. That's the biggest swing you can get in a race here with the points format we have in the Trinity River Cup Series. Look at the Buc-ee's race report on the left side of your screen. 15 laps here around this just shy of a 3.5-mile road course, and we are set to go racing here for the 4th trip to Watkins Glen here for the Trinity River Cup Series. We had 2 1 year ago in a doubleheader. We saw a couple of thrilling events that helped to set up the look for the championship 1 year ago, and this is literally going to happen today. It's the second to last race of the year. We are set to go racing here at Watkins Glen. The BodyArmor 400k gets the green flag. Thomas Truxell with the advantage at the starting line. It looked like Lozano just did not get going at the start. Into turn number 1 they go. Truxell pulls ahead. Cruz side by side with Lozano as they head out of turn number 1 and into the S's. Lozano now trying to get to the inside of Thomas Truxell. Truxell stretches away the 16, and so Lozano will pull in behind that 16. The 27 of Roberto Crown Jr. slips into 3rd. Zidell to 4th and Teague to 5th as now Lozano's going back after that 16. Looks like everybody made it through the first 4 corners as here's Lozano taking a peek to the inside of Thomas Truxell into the fastest corner on the racetrack. Turn number 5, they get together. Lozano shoves the 16 out wide, and more contact between Truxell and Roberto Crown Jr. Jr. slides out wide. Here comes Zidell to the inside of that 16. Down into the boot section of this racetrack they go. Into the toe to turn number 7, a big, almost 180-degree hairpin here as Roberto Crown Jr. down to the inside of Justin Zidell. Now Teague looking to follow suit there on the inside in the 97. Started this race in the 3rd position, light up on the grid, as now moving up through turns 8 and turn 9 up the hill there. Just after the little short chute there that NASCAR uses. Into turn number 10 and 11. Truxell's going to go way wide in turn 10. Got to watch out for turn 11 here. This is a trouble corner. Lozano's going to make it through clean, and it looks like Crown will not. Roberto Crown Jr. slow after hitting the wall on corner exit, and he won't be the only one. But it looks like there will be no spinning out after turn number 11. So Lozano leads lap number 1, just over a second ahead of Thomas Truxell. Justin Zidell into the 3rd position, and then Roberto Crown Jr. 4th. Colin Teague rounds out the top 5 at the end of lap number 1. Checking in on your championship contenders here. Nicholas Samatio is 15th. Kyle McLeese is in the 16th position. Alejandro Cruz Jr. is in the 7th position. He needs the 98 and the 59 to slip back a little bit if he wants to battle for this championship. Same with the 24, the 95. They basically need the 98 and the 59 to just wreck out. And they go up and finish in the top 15. They're going to battle for a championship at Homestead if that happens. But they desperately need that to happen and everything go their way. And right now, it is a very clean start here at Watkins Glen. All things considered, nobody has spun out at all. Everybody is still up in this group as Zidell and Truxell now side by side for that 2nd position. And looks like Zidell's going to pull ahead into the turn 8 area. And now up the hill, heading into turn number 9. This is going to be a corner that Truxell should pull back ahead of that 62. But now as we watch into turn 10 and 11, this is where it gets interesting again, as mentioned the previous lap. Saw Roberto Crown Jr. hit the turn 11 wall and slip back. Zidell's going to go out wide, and now as you watch the field making it through turn 10 and now into turn 11, looks like Zano may have clipped it a little bit. Oh, Zidell and Truxell get together. Truxell spins out on corner entry. Zidell just body slammed him on corner exit, and it looks like everybody else is going to get by that 16. No further trouble, and of course no cautions on the road courses, but he won't get passed by everybody. Samit Ozgen there, the 83, sits in the 34th position, so Truxell as a result of that, falls all the way back to the 33rd position. And that will move Justin Zeidel into the 2nd position. And Lozano's lead just got even bigger. Now Roberto Crown Jr. up against the backside of the 62. That Buick down to the inside, heading through turn number 5. Teague now in 4th. Move Hightower up into the top 5 as a result of Troxel's ordeal. Out of turn 6 they come. Alphabet gets off into the dirt. Teammates getting together as they're side by side. That's Blake Parker and Ryan Durrani going after it there for the 9th position. And it'll be Parker ahead of the 10 as into the battle for 2nd. Here's Colin Teague going after Roberto Crown Jr. That's for 3rd as Justin Zeidel pulls ahead of both of them. Up the hill into turn number 9. Now Crown fires into the inside of Zeidel, looking to take that spot away. And while they're going at it, you see Alex Lozano almost completely out of the picture. There he is, making his way through turn number 11, and he'll make it through clean. Crown going to go wide and hit the wall again. Zeidel's going to go into the pits. What in the world for? As Cruz hits the wall, and I think Samadillo might have as well, just clipped it a little bit. But he's far enough ahead, he won't lose any positions. And everybody else makes it through that lap okay. Now, where's Kyle McLeese on the racetrack at the moment? 19th, and Samadillo is up in the 11th position. So right now it'd be Samadillo taking the points lead back by roughly 5 points at this point, if things stay the way they are, which we'll have to see. We'll have one pit cycle here in this race today at Watkins Glen. Becoming about the end of the first 10 laps or so. It should fall right in the middle of this race. We'll just have to see what happens. They make it through turn 5 and 6. Lozano, a clean exit out of 6. Same for Teague and Hightower. As side by side, a little further behind as Durrani clips the guardrail coming out of 6. But side by side between Trey Wright and Christopher Alphaby. Wright and Gordon trying to make their way up through the field. And Upton off the track at 7. Into the tire barrier hard. And that's going to hold up a bunch of cars as they head down the bottom of the boot. Into turn number 8. Upton from 14th in 7th, slamming the tire barrier. As now a heated battle going on for the 4th position right now. Alphabet, Wright, and Crown going at it. As Lozano a little sideways on corner exit. Teague and Hightower make it through, as will Alphabet and Crown. Everybody making it through so far, although Samadillo clips the wall. He's the first one we've seen do it. And now I think Upton may have done it as well, but everybody else seems to be making it through. Troxel scrapes the wall just a touch. As now, here for the 2nd position, comes Joey Hightower going after Colin Teague. That battle for 2nd rages on as the gap to the lead closed up a little bit. 2.79 it's now down to. It was over 3 seconds the last time through. So as they head down into turn 5 and 6, Lozano continues to lead the way. As we're at coming around for 10 to go this time, as Teague goes off track and scrapes the guardrail a little bit. That'll draw Hightower back up to him, diving to the inside of turn number 7. And out of 7, they will come side by side for that 2nd position. And into turn number 8, Hightower should have the advantage, but Teague's going to have the low line in turn number 9. So we'll have to see how it goes here. Teague a little wide, Hightower with the nose length advantage coming out of turn 8, but now into 9. As I said, that's a corner that was going to work out best for Teague. But now Hightower coming back on the right side into turn number 10. He'll go out just past the rumble strips into turn number 11, and Teague is going to go wide and hit the wall. Here comes Hightower into 2nd, and he'll take the spot. And now almost 4 seconds the lead for Alex Lozano, as looks like Alejandro Cruz has come into the pit area as cars are beating and banging coming out of turn number 11. A very, very sketchy exit, as is proven to be year in, year out here at Watkins Glen, and it is chewing up some sheet metal today. So head down the back straightaway once again out of the S's, heading off down into turn number 5. Lozano with just short of a 4-second lead over Joey Hightower. Hightower there in the second position. Colin Teague now in third. Alphabet fourth. Crown fifth. And then Wright sixth. And side by side for seventh between Elijah Gordon and Blake Parker. Durrani there in ninth. And John Andrews rounds out the top 10. But the battle rages on for seventh between Parker and Gordon. Gordon slides wide into the grass almost. And that will be Parker taking that position away from the 24. Heading off down into turn number 8 once again, looking through the rest of your standings here. Sam Adio 11th, Kukulon 12th, Perez 13th, Parrish 14th, Vargas is 15th at the moment, and then McLeese, Rose, Monaco, Thompson, and Sear. That's your top 20. Lewis, Trey Smith, Jacob Thibodeau, Alejandro Cruz, Scott Upton, Brock Nelson, Ace Garcia, Stephen Colon, Andrew Williams, and William Brock. That's your top 30 as Alphabet slams the wall on turn 11 exit. And it looks like the 27 and the 95 will get by him. So we'll move Alphabet down to the 6th position. And to round out the top 40, it's going to be Collins, Henderson, Oskin, Lightning, Truxell, Biller, McShane. As stuff gets shuffled around there, we'll start over there. Oskin, Henderson, Lightning, Truxell, McShane, Biller, Sakala, Harris, Cruz, and Zidell. That's first to last right now here at Watkins Glen. 4.23 seconds. The gap now between the Buck Racing teammates, running 1-2 in what may be the last season for Buck Racing here in the Trinity River Cup Series. We'll have to see how things go for the rest of the reserve period, which will come to an end after Homestead in 1 week. That race going to be probably going to be up Sunday night, and will be under the lights to battle for a championship at Homestead for 67 laps, and it should be a thrilling 67 laps. But right now we still have Watkins Glen going on here. We're just going to be right at halfway this time through as Lozano comes through 11. He's going to spank the outside wall in turn 11. Hightower is going to make it through smooth, as will Teague. But Lozano slams the wall coming out of turn number 11. And you see that he lost over 1.3 seconds that lap. His teammate closing in rapidly into Ford Performance Parts number 2. Teague right now, the 97. 41 points back coming in of Kyle McLeese. And right now running third, with McLeese running 16th. That would bring him 13 points closer, so it would put him 28 back. But Nicholas Samadio would take the points lead right now as Parker and Alphabet make contact going into turn number 5. A heated battle there going on for the 6th position on the racetrack. Alphabet on the inside of 6, Parker on the outside there. Looks like Alphabet has the advantage for the moment, but this is a right-hander coming up here in turn number 7. So Parker's going to pull back ahead of Alphabet as they head down the bottom of the boot. And a big braking zone coming ahead in turn number 8. Parker ahead of the 3 now for that 6th position. Now the Donut Media Ford, Alex Lozano, continues to lead the way. Last car on the lead lap there, you just saw Justin Zidell. He got into a little bit of trouble a little earlier on, if you're just tuning in. Got into a little trouble with Thomas Truxell earlier on, as Lozano's going to come into the pits, and Hightower and Teague will stay out. We'll see if anybody else goes down with the 4. Andrew slams the wall on turn 11 entry. Or turn 11 exit, rather, and Gordon will get by, and Samadillo will not quite get by, as Vargas looks like he's going to come to the pits as well, as will Brock Nelson in the 18, and they'll be the only ones here in that first group. So we'll have to see how the undercut works for them, as Hightower remains out on the racetrack running an average race speed of 115.852 miles per hour for car number 2. Fastest lap of the race belongs to Alex Lozano, minute 44.585, as side-by-side between the 14 and the 95 of Blake Parker and Trey Wright there for the 5th position. Trey Wright was the incumbent before the battle began, and now Blake Parker washes wide through 6. And it looks like Wright will be able to hold on to that 5th position, at least for the time being. As down the straightaway, we'll see just a head look and see who came off the pit road first. Lozano, it appears. We'll see though. Did he get some damage fixed on that? Yes, he did. That may have held him up a little bit on the pits. Looks like Vargas, I think Vargas actually got out ahead of that 4. We'll take a look, unless my mind's playing games with me. I think Vargas is ahead of Lozano on the racetrack, as the rest of them, maybe the rest of the field, will head into the pits. I don't know. Trey Wright's going to miss it, as will Alphabee. They'll have to come around one more time. Disaster for those two. And Wright, who's trying to get within championship contention, he did not need that, and Monaco's going to go wide as well. A critical error for them, and Cologne and McShane not going to make it into the pits this time. Boy, is this going to shake the standings up. And we'll have to see what happens now. Who's going to get damaged fixed and who's just going to come right back out onto the racetrack. Hightower came in the race leader, and he will come out the race leader. T's going to have an extended stay on pit road, presumably to fix the damage on the left side of that race car. And back out onto the racetrack he will go with Crown. But Samadillo, not a good stop at all for that 98. And there goes Lozano and Vargas. We'll see where the 46 ends up. Looks as though the overcut is going to work for Joey Hightower, as he is pulled away. He has a mammoth lead ahead of Blake Parker and now Ryan Durrani. As they round off the podium, Thompson in 4th, Thibodeau back in 5th, Vargas up to 6th. As we look through the standings, as we'll have them update the next time through, a little bit of contact there on entry between Kanan Biller and Kyle McLeese by the looks of things. Now Caleb Rose on the backside of that 59, trying to get around the championship leader. And we'll see where that 97 came out. As now Wright and Alphabee come into the pits. Monaco's going to have to come in, as will Cologne and McShane. We'll have to see if maybe this extreme overcut works out for them. Cologne comes into the pits, everybody making it in clean, and now McShane, the last driver that needs to. Oh, a hot entry, and not going to make it. McShane slams the wall on pit entry, and McShane will fall out of the race. The Hightower will come around for 5 laps to go, as I guess Wright and Alphabee have already got it. But McShane, a horrible heartbreaker, and you knew overshooting the pits was going to hurt them dramatically, and Hightower is going to have a humongous lead on the way to victory here, potentially at Watkins Glen. Wright does pull out ahead of Christian Vargas, though, so he might come home with a 4th place finish, but But no telling right now if it's going to be enough to get him within championship viability. Samadio's 28th, McLeese is 23rd. And with Wright being in the 4th position, that is not going to be enough. Needs the 98 and the 59 to wreck out if he wants to have a chance at this championship, as Vargas is going to slip wide in 6th and go and slam the tire barrier on corner entry. Corner exit, as now Thompson's going after him there for the, I believe that's the 8th position. No, that's the 5th position on the racetrack. So we're still waiting for the standings to update a little bit. As Hightower enters up through turn number 9, comes out of there with 2 corners remaining on this lap. You'll see 4 laps to go in the BodyArmor 400k. Colin Teague in the 97 came in 3rd in the championship standings, 41 back. We'll see where he ends up this time. He may at least be ahead of the 98 and 59. Yes, indeed, Samadeo has gotten back ahead of Kyle McLeese in the 59 on the racetrack. It looked like Samadeo had a horrible pit stop, but he is on the rebound now. 5.65 seconds the lead for Hightower, as a little bit of a skid coming out of turn 11 may have been Alex Lozano in the 4. Saw the smoke coming up out of that corner. So a huge lead for Hightower, and now looking at the standings, Colin Teague sits in the 12th position. Samadeo's 26th, McLeese 27th. Folks, we are going to have one heck of a championship battle between these 3 drivers when we get to Homestead next week. Kanan Biller, who is coming in 55 back in the 4th position in the standings. See where he is right there. And Samadeo sits again in the 26th, and McLeese is 27th position. Biller comes in 55 back. He'd need to be 11 positions ahead of Kyle McLeese and 8 points ahead of Nicholas Samadeo to have a shot at the championship, and he's neither of those things. So it looks like it's just going to come down between 3 drivers here in 2022 to battle for this championship at Homestead 1 week from now. And it's going to be a much closer margin than the one was last year between Trey Smith and Sebastian Kukulon. We're set for one heck of a Best Buy 500 next week under the lights at Homestead. But 3 laps to go now for Joey Hightower here at Watkins Glen. On track for what would be his 2nd career win, the last win coming all the way back last spring in 2021 at the Kansas Speedway on an unseasonably cloudy day in Kansas City, Kansas, and he passed Nathan Smith late to win that race. And now, still with just over a 5.5 second lead over Blake Parker and Ryan Durrani, who are just trying to make it home at this point. They're teammates. They're not going to battle each other too hard. Trying to come home with a double podium for All-Star Speed Team. Right in the 4th position. Vargas is in 5th. Then Thompson, Perez, Thibodeau, and what a cluster battling for this 10th position. Kukulon ahead of Alpha B for the moment. But here's Andrews, Teague, Crown, and Gordon all right there. We'll keep our eyes on this, at least for now. Who's going to come out of this is Lozano, you see, battling side by side a little further back with Lewis. And Lozano ahead of that 54. It looks like Kukulon's going to pull ahead of the 3 of Alphaby for that 9th position and now into 10th. Here comes Andrews on the inside of the 3 of Christopher Alphaby. Teague forces him wide a little bit. Now into turn number 9 they go. Alpha B has the preferred line going through 9 and now through 10 and 11. We'll have to see how it goes this time as 2 laps to go here at Watkins Glen as Hightower gets to the line. 6 seconds the difference. Here's Kukulon going after Thibodeau. Thibodeau going to go wide a little bit, as will Perez, and they'll both hit the wall on the turn 11 exit. That will put Kukulon into the 8th position, move Thibodeau back to 9th, and now the battle for 10th still raging on between John Andrews and Christopher Alphaby, and give it to Alphaby as they head into the S's. The All-Star Speed Team teammates still playing nice for now in 2nd and 3rd, and nor would we really expect them to battle at all, given the way things are right now. They're both on track for one of their best finishes of the season. But at the moment, the two championship leaders, Nicholas Samadio is in 25th right now. Kyle McLeese is 27th. They are going to be separated by 1 point if this is the way things remain here to the finish of the BodyArmor 400k. But Hightower now 3 corners away from the white flag. What a dominating performance he's put on in the second half of this race. After all the trouble that's gone on for a lot of other drivers in this race, it has been a wild one to say the least, but Hightower comes off the corner one more time around here at the Watkins Glen International for Joey Hightower to pick up his first win of the season and the second of his career. Into turn number 1, Parker and Durrani still nose to tail in 2nd and 3rd. Parker might going to be his best finish of the year. Durrani had a 2nd at Talladega, but now Durrani going after his teammate there momentarily on the entry to the S's. But Parker pulls back ahead of Durrani. 6.5 seconds the difference. Up to the 2 of Hightower, going to be one of the largest margins of victory we've seen all year. But Hightower, Buck Racing has not really had much to celebrate this year. Neither driver has won a race this year. They're both way down to the championship standings, particularly Alex Lozano. Hightower is actually coming in 14th in the standings, 116 points back of Kyle McLeese, not in championship contention, and Lozano's all the way back in 33rd. So a race that was dominated by his teammate, Alex Lozano, now turns to the favor of Joey Hightower in the number 2 Ford Performance Parts Mustang for Buck Racing, and now 2 corners remain, and he's going to see the checkered flag here at one of the most storied road courses in the United States. Through turn 10 and now through turn 11, Joey Hightower will see the checkered flag first, and the winless streak finally comes to an end. Joey Hightower wins the BodyArmor 400k at Watkins Glen. Second place at the line, going to be very close between the teammates. I think Durrani may have gotten ahead of Parker. He did. Right into 4th. Vargas will come home with the top 5. Then Kukulon, Perez, Alphaby slams the wall on corner exit. Teague will get around. Teague 8th. Alphaby 9th. Crown rounds out the top 10. Looking for your championship leaders. Samadio will cross in the 22nd position. McLeese crosses in 27th. So Samadio will take the points lead back away by 2 points ahead of the 59. Colin Teague finishing in the 8th position. Let's take a look here, because this is going to be really, really close, I think. So McLeese finished in the 27th position. Teague finished 8th. That's a 19 position difference. And so that would put Colin Teague 22 points behind McLeese. And I believe 24 points behind Nicholas Samadio. So it's going to be a long shot for Colin Teague, but he still mathematically has a shot at this championship. But Joey Hightower, he's not battling for the championship, but he doesn't care. He's got his first win of the season, and he does it dominating the second half of the race, winning by 7 seconds, over 7 seconds actually, ahead of Ryan Durrani, who just narrowly edges his teammate out at the line. And a very topsy-turvy race here at Watkins Glen, reminiscent of the BodyArmor 400k last year. And in will come to the pits Joey Hightower, victorious for Buck Racing and the number 2. But before we take a look at your finishing results, we had quite a bit of things go on in this race, and we're going to go ahead and take a look back at them in our post-race replay. So coming to the end of lap number 2 here was Truxell almost hitting the turn 11 wall, and Zidell forces him wide into the guardrail, and the 16 spins out on corner exit. Thankfully, nobody else runs into him, but Truxell, to say the least, was not happy with Justin Zidell after that one. The 16 coming home with what was looking like it was going to be a very promising finish. He ends up 28th today at Watkins Glen. Now watching Scott Upton heading off into turn number 7 here, and just at the almost the exit of the turn, goes wide and hits the tire barrier and slows up a whole bunch of cars checking up behind the 78. But thankfully, no further trouble happened as a result. So actually, a couple happening here at the end of lap 11. Lozano slides up into Thibodeau, and that's the smoke we saw coming out of turn number 11. The 4 spins out at corner exit. Thibodeau getting a ton of damage as well. But then a little further behind, here's William Brock just tapping the turn 11 wall. Caleb Rose shoots up into him, and now down into the pit wall. Slams it hard down on the front straightaway. But that was not something we saw right away, I guess. I guess we missed that in live, but thank goodness for instant replay, right? And at the end of the day, it was Joey Hightower winning with one of the largest margins of victories we have seen in the series, over 7 seconds ahead of a thrilling final corner battle between Blake Parker and Ryan Durrani. Puts Durrani into the second position. Blake Parker rounds off the podium. We'll go ahead now and take a look at your finishing results here at Watkins Glen. Well, here are your finishing results here at Watkins Glen International in the Finger Lakes region of New York. Joey Hightower wins with an average race speed of 113.027 miles per hour by 7.145 seconds ahead of Ryan Durrani. Blake Parker finishes 12 one-thousandths of a second behind his teammate. Then Trey Wright 4th. Vargas comes home with a top 5. Then Kugelon, Perez, Teague, Alphabet, and Crown rounding out the top 10. Scrolling through the rest of the standings, Priya McShane, the only car unable to finish on the lead lap, or unable to finish the race, period. Everybody else finishing on the lead lap. McShane, of course, falling out, trying to enter the pits, came into wide, hit the end of the pit wall, and that was the only incident in this race that actually knocked a car out of the race, thank goodness. A pretty clean race, but it was a topsy-turvy race. It was a wild race here at Watkins Glen, and it sets up a 3-driver battle for the championship next weekend at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Nicholas Samadillo, Kyle McLeese, Colin Teague. 3 drivers, 1 champion for season number 4. Looking forward to seeing how it's going to go down. We'll see you next week at South Beach in Florida. Until then, y'all take care, stay safe, and have a good one.
Welcome to the NOFSRL.